everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's been gaining a lot of attention in the fashion world: animal fur. Specifically, we're going to talk about one of the last major outdoor brands still using it. Woolrich. You've probably seen their iconic Arctic parkas. They're known for quality and warmth, but what you might not know is that the fuzzy trim on the hoods of many of those parkas, even the ones for children, comes from real animals. While so many of its biggest competitors have already made a change, Woolrich continues to use fur from raccoon dogs, coyotes, and foxes. Brands like Canada Goose, The North Face, Parajumpers, and Patagonia have all listened to consumers and committed to going fur-free. So, the big question is, why hasn't Woolrich? Let's talk about where this fur actually comes from. Woolrich sources a lot of its fur from a Finnish auction house called Saga Furs. Now, Saga Furs promotes itself as selling certified fur using a system called AnimalWelfare. This sounds good on the surface, right? It suggests a standard of care, but when you look closer, this certification is built around the very system that causes so much concern, keeping animals in small wire mesh cages for their entire lives. Imagine being a raccoon dog, an animal naturally meant to roam and explore. Instead, you spend your few months of life confined to a tiny cage, unable to express any of your natural behaviors. You can't dig, you can't climb, you can't socialize properly. You're just there, waiting. This confinement leads to immense stress, psychological distress, and physical ailments. After a few months of this miserable existence, these animals are killed, often through methods like gassing or electrocution, or so their fur can become a decorative trim on a jacket. This is the reality behind that certified label. It doesn't certify welfare. It certifies a system of cruelty. But it's not just fur farms. Woolrich also uses fur from wild-caught animals, like coyotes from North America. The methods used to catch these animals are just as brutal, if not more so. We're talking about traps, leg hold traps, snares, and other devices that are anything but humane. When an animal gets caught in one of these, it's rarely an instant, clean process. Instead, they can suffer for hours or even days in excruciating pain. They struggle, often breaking bones or tearing their own skin, trying to get free. They're left exposed to the elements without food or water, waiting for the trapper to return. And when the trapper does return, the end is just as grim. To preserve the pelt, methods like suffocation, bludgeoning, or drowning are commonly used. Think about that for a second. This is the hidden cost of that fur trim. What's even more heartbreaking is that these traps are indiscriminate. They don't just catch coyotes, countless other animals, including pets like dogs and cats, deer, birds, and endangered species stumble into these traps by accident. They become what the industry calls trash, unintended victims of a cruel trade. They suffer and die for absolutely no reason, simply for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. The simple, unavoidable truth is that every single piece of fur, whether from a farm or the wild, is a product of intense animal suffering. There is no such thing as humane fur. It's a marketing myth designed to make us feel better about a practice that is fundamentally inhumane. Now, let's switch gears and talk about something Woolrich often highlights: sustainability. On their website and in their marketing, they talk about their commitment to the environment. But there's a huge blind spot in their sustainability story, and that's the environmental impact of fur production. The fur industry loves to position fur as a natural and sustainable product. But is it really? Let's break it down. Fur farming is essentially factory farming for fashion. Keeping thousands of carnivorous animals packed together on a farm requires an enormous amount of resources. Think about the feed these animals are fed, a diet that often includes products from other industrial animal agriculture systems. It takes a lot of water, energy, and land to produce that feed. Then there's the waste. Thousands of animals confined in a small area produce a massive amount of manure and urine. This waste is highly concentrated with nitrogen and phosphorus. All too often, it seeps into the local soil and runs off into nearby rivers and lakes. This pollutes our waterways, harms aquatic life, and can contaminate drinking water sources. It's the same environmental problem we see with other forms of intensive factory farming. And what about processing the fur itself? To stop the pelts from rotting, they have to be treated with a cocktail of chemicals, including formaldehyde and chromium substances that are known to be toxic to both human health and the environment. So, this idea of fur being a pure natural product that just biodegrades back into the earth is far from the truth. When you look at the entire life cycle from feeding the animals to tanning the pelts, the carbon footprint of real fur is significantly higher than that of most modern faux fur alternatives. In a world where we are all trying to be more conscious of our environmental impact, using real fur just doesn't add up. It's a resource-intensive, polluting industry that has a severe impact on local ecosystems. So, for a brand like Woolrich to claim it as focused on sustainability while ignoring this massive issue feels at best inconsistent. But here's the good news in all of this. The fashion industry is changing. We are in the middle of a massive shift away from animal fur. More and more designers, retailers, and consumers are realizing that we don't need to harm animals to be stylish or warm. Innovation has brought us incredible alternatives. Modern faux furs are not the cheap, plasticky materials of the past. They are soft, luxurious, incredibly warm, and can be made from recycled and bio-based materials, making them a much more sustainable choice. Think about all the major names that have already joined the fur-free movement. We're talking about luxury giants like Gucci, Versace, and Prada. We're talking about entire cities and even countries that have banned fur farming and sales. Fashion is evolving, and it's evolving towards kindness and responsibility. The momentum is undeniable. This brings us back to Woolrich. By clinging to fur, they are not just falling behind the curve. They are actively choosing to ignore the ethical and environmental consequences of their products. They are siding with a cruel and outdated industry instead of embracing a more compassionate and forward-thinking future. So, what can we do? As consumers, our voices and our choices are incredibly powerful. We can choose to support brands that align with our values. We can let Woolrich know that we want them to join the 21st century and go fur-free. You can send them an email, comment on their social media posts, or simply choose to buy your winter coat from one of the many amazing brands that have already ditched fur. You don't need fur to make a statement. In today's world, your compassion and your values are the boldest and most stylish accessories you can wear. True luxury isn't about wearing an animal's skin. It's about having a clear conscience and making choices that contribute to a better, kinder world for everyone, animals included. The tide is turning, and it's only a matter of time before fur is seen for what it is, a relic of a less compassionate past. Let's help brands like Woolrich see the light. Thanks so much for watching and for caring about this important issue. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future content. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.